start creation of data for this particular metadata that we are going to discuss now, which means what? How the analyst is going to define the what I call data corresponding to this particular columns, which is what we are going to discuss. Click add new row. That's one way to add a new row, and other way is what? We have add row button through which also we can add a new row. I just clicked on this. So one of this option can be used in order to what I call add a content to the columns that we specified here. Yeah. So let us say we talked about diamond, all that, right? If you get data like diamond or diamond 1, yeah, replace them with what I call dia or else demon or whatever, which means what? Depending upon the expectations, like India, we can represent IN, IND, India and so on. Yes or no? All those probable expectations or probable representations of the same data will be defined as part of C2, C3, C4 and so on. Yeah. Then the standard or unified data, which we call valid data, need to be kept under what? C1 column, which is going to be the valid column. Yeah. So likewise, we can add other values. Let's say 1, 1, 1. Wherever there is a 1 and 2, which we call customer tier codes, replace them with what we call replace them with what? 1, 1, 1. Likewise, we can add any number of columns. Let us say some values, I'll put it, which means what? In case if you don't get these values like 44 or 3333, then no replace is going to take place, which means what? Replacement will not happen at all. Yeah. So likewise, we can add any number of rows depending upon like whatever is needed for the business. That's all. This is one way to add data. Other way I was trying to talk about add row button, right? Where we can add, let us say, there's a one more. I'll put here branch. Yeah. So branch can be represented branch or because spellings, right? We can have what you call branch and so on. So we can define n number of expectations here. Audit note is what? Branch, what you call standardization. Yeah? Which means why do you need this? Because in order to keep track of who added this particular record, modified, deleted, all that, right? For that we use what we call this audit note, so that just by looking at the audit note and the username, all that, we can keep track of who added, who modified, who deleted, when it was done, why it was done, all that will be tracked by using what? Next concept, which we call audit trail, which I am going to talk. Now, you can see, right? Likewise, we can add any number of records. If you want to make any changes, you can click on that row, modify that. That's one way. And second way is what? We can also select this. There is an edit button. Can you see here? Click on edit and then modify it. That's a branch 2. And then say apply. Okay, that's it. Likewise, we can modify this reference data any number of times depending upon what is called the kind of change that will happen for this kind of data. Yeah. Now, let us say you want to delete some data which is, let us say, not required to be part of reference data. How do you do that? Let us say this data is no more valid Now we need to make that as what I call valid data. Yeah. How do you need to what I call remove that kind of what I call data. How do you do that? Select that particular row. There is a delete button. Can you see here? Click on delete and then define the deleted node. Delete it because of what I call expiry or whatever, or out of date. Yeah. So likewise, we can select any record or records. Set of records also can be selected. There are check boxes, right? We can select all of them and then perform deletion and give the reason why we are going to delete that particular record. So which is what will be done by using what we call. Now we know adding a row, modifying the existing row, deletion of what we call existing row. 3 operations we have done for this particular reference table. Yes or no? Similarly, once we have done that, we can keep track of that by using what? Audit trail. Audit trail concept in analyst is what? Just to keep track of who modified, who deleted, who edited, data and metadata. Remember, there are 2 parts here. Data part, which you can see here. There are 2 types here. One is what? Data, which we added just now. Rows, right? They're all part of what we call data. Metadata means what? Like we started off creation of reference table, right? Where we added columns, type and so on. We call that as what we call metadata, which means change can happen either to the metadata or to what we call to the data. That is where what we call both of them, which means changes with respect to data as well as metadata, will be tracked by using what? Audit trail. Then you can select what you call from and to, type and user. In case if we have multiple users who are going to make use of this particular analyst tool, then what we could do here is we could always what we could select that particular user and see what are the what we call modifications that was done by that particular user. Second, in case if you want to check irrespective of user, we need to keep track of all the changes. Then we use what we call all and then start clicking on show. Again, we have what we call one more filter field here, which is what? Status, where we can see different statuses like we have new row, edited row, deleted row, replaced all. We have what are these 4 operations that could be performed by using what? Reference table manager, which means this one. Here we can also use, there's one more operation which I didn't explain, which was what? Bulk operation, where you can click on that and search. Let us say wherever there is a 1111 example, replace with let us say 2222 example. So here we have what? 1 and 2 occurrences. If you want to highlight wherever there is a match with respect to this search, then we can just click on highlight all. So we have 2 records, 2 values. One belongs to column 1, other belongs to column 2. If you want to replace all of them, we could do that. Click on what you call replace all. Now define a what you call audit note to what you call like whatever you want. Yeah? And say OK.